imagine checking into a hotel room for just one night. You sleep peacefully. Everything seems normal. But the next morning, you discover something impossible. The room you stayed in doesn't exist. Not anymore. The hotel manager claims room 307 was never built. The security cameras show nobody entering that room. And dozens of guests who stayed there before you vanished without a trace. So what really happened inside room 307? And why do people still receive messages from a room that officially doesn't exist? Stay until the end, because this mystery becomes darker with every clue. It was a cold winter evening when Michael Carter arrived in the city of Ravensshire. Heavy snow covered the streets, and a freezing wind howled through the empty roads. Michael was a travel journalist who spent most of his life exploring unusual places around the world. That night, however, he wanted nothing more than a warm room and a good night's sleep. His car had broken down several miles outside the city, forcing him to walk through the snow for nearly an hour. Exhausted and freezing, he finally noticed an old hotel standing at the end of a narrow street. The sign above the entrance read, "The Grand Raven Hotel." The building looked ancient. Its tall windows glowed softly through the falling snow. Michael pushed open the heavy wooden door and stepped inside. The lobby was strangely quiet. A grandfather clock ticked loudly in the corner. Behind the reception desk stood an elderly man wearing a dark suit. "Good evening," Michael said. "I need a room for the night." The old receptionist smiled. "Of course, sir." He opened a large guest book and slowly turned its yellowed pages. After a moment, he looked up. Room 307. Michael took the key. Something about the receptionist felt strange. His smile never seemed to change. His eyes never blinked. Trying not to think about it, Michael carried his suitcase upstairs. The hallway was long and silent. Room numbers stretched endlessly along both sides. 301. 302. 303. Finally, the room appeared normal. A comfortable bed. A wooden desk. A wardrobe. A large mirror hanging on the wall. Michael locked the door and went to sleep. At exactly 3:07 a.m., he woke suddenly. Someone was knocking on the door. 3 slow knocks. Knock. 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 Michael sat up. His heart raced. The knocking continued. He checked his phone. 3:07 a.m. "Who's there?" he called. No answer. The knocking stopped. Carefully, he opened the door. The hallway was empty. No footsteps. No sound. Nothing. Confused, he returned to bed. But as he closed the door, he noticed something strange. The hallway outside looked longer than before. Much longer. Almost impossibly long. He rubbed his eyes. When he looked again, it appeared normal. Michael convinced himself he was simply tired. Eventually, he fell asleep. The next morning, he went downstairs for breakfast. The receptionist was still standing behind the desk. Exactly where he had been the night before. The same smile. The same expression. Michael sat down beside a young waitress. "How long have you worked here?" he asked. The waitress looked surprised. "I don't work here." Michael frowned. "What do you mean?" The waitress leaned closer. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "You need to leave this hotel." Before Michael could ask another question, she quickly walked away. Moments later, she disappeared completely. Nobody else in the dining room seemed to notice her. That afternoon, Michael decided to explore the hotel. As a journalist, curiosity was part of his nature. He searched every floor. Everything appeared ordinary. Until he reached the third floor again. This time he noticed something unusual. The hallway ended at room 306. There was no room 307. Michael froze. He walked back and counted again. 301. 302. 303. 304. 305. 306. Nothing else. Room 307 was gone. Yet he had slept there the night before. His suitcase was still inside. Or at least, it should have been. Terrified, Michael rushed downstairs. He approached the receptionist. "Where is room 307? The old man stared silently. Then he smiled wider than before. And said 6 words Michael would never forget. Room 307 does not exist. Michael felt the blood drain from his face. Michael stepped backward. His hands trembled. "What do you mean room 307 doesn't exist?" he asked. The receptionist simply smiled. "Sir, this hotel has only 306 rooms." Michael's mind raced. "I slept there last night." The old man slowly closed the guest book. "You must be mistaken." Michael immediately ran back upstairs. He searched every corner of the 3rd floor. Nothing. The hallway ended at room 306. There was no sign that room 307 had ever existed. No missing door. No hidden entrance. Nothing. His breathing became heavy. Then he remembered something. His suitcase. If room 307 didn't exist, where was his luggage? Inside the suitcase were his passport, laptop, camera, and all his belongings. Panicked, he searched the entire hotel. No suitcase. It had vanished. That evening Michael decided to leave. Something was terribly wrong with the Grand Raven Hotel. As he packed what little he had left, a folded piece of paper slipped under his door. Michael quickly opened it. Written in black ink were 4 words. "Meet me at midnight." There was no name. No explanation. Just below the message was a location. Basement level. Midnight arrived. Despite his fear, curiosity won. Michael quietly made his way downstairs. The basement corridor was dark. Old pipes ran along the ceiling. Water dripped from somewhere in the shadows. At the far end stood a single wooden door. The door creaked open by itself. Inside stood the same young waitress he had seen earlier. She looked nervous. "You came," she whispered. "Who are you?" Michael asked. "My name is Sarah." "Do you work here?" Sarah shook her head. "No." "Then why are you here?" Her answer chilled him. "Because I checked into room 307 3 years ago." Michael stared at her. "What?" Sarah's eyes filled with fear. "Room 307 appears only to certain people." Michael felt cold. "Appears?" Sarah nodded. "The room chooses its guests." She explained that 3 years earlier she had arrived at the hotel during a storm. Like Michael, she had been given room 307. The next morning the room disappeared. Nobody believed her. The police searched the hotel. Nothing was found. Eventually she stayed in Raven's hire, determined to uncover the truth. "And what did you find?" Michael asked. Sarah hesitated. "The room isn't part of the hotel." Michael frowned. "What does that mean?" Sarah slowly pointed toward the floor beneath them. "It's underneath us." A loud bang suddenly echoed through the corridor. Both of them froze. Footsteps. Slow footsteps. Someone was approaching. Sarah's face turned pale. "We have to go." They hurried deeper into the basement. Eventually they reached a rusted metal gate hidden behind old shelves. Sarah unlocked it using a small key. Beyond the gate was a narrow stone staircase descending into darkness. The air felt colder with every step. At the bottom they discovered something impossible. An entire hidden level beneath the hotel. Dust covered everything. Rows of abandoned rooms stretched endlessly into darkness. Each room had a number. 307. 308. 309. 310. Michael's heart nearly stopped. The rooms existed. But not where they should. Suddenly he noticed hundreds of old photographs hanging on a wall. Every photograph showed a former guest. Some photos dated back decades. Others were over 100 years old. One detail connected them all. Every person had stayed in room 307. Many were never seen again. Michael's hands shook as he examined the photographs. Then he saw something horrifying. One photograph had been taken only yesterday. The person in the picture was him. Someone had photographed him sleeping inside room 307. A loud metallic sound echoed behind them. The gate upstairs slammed shut. The lights flickered. And for the first time, Michael heard a voice. A voice coming from room 307 itself. Soft. Distant. Almost human. It whispered only one sentence. Come back. Sarah immediately grabbed his arm. We need to leave right now. But it was already too late. The door of room 307 slowly began to open by itself. And something inside was moving. The door of room 307 slowly creaked open. Darkness waited beyond the doorway. Not ordinary darkness. It felt alive. As if something inside was watching them. Michael stood frozen. Sarah grabbed his arm. We have to leave now. But before they could move, the voice came again. Stronger this time. Clearer. Michael. His blood ran cold. The room knew his name. The hallway lights flickered violently. One by one, the old bulbs exploded. Glass shattered across the floor. Now only a faint blue glow escaped from inside room 307. Michael couldn't look away. Something inside the room was pulling him closer. Step by step, he moved forward. Sarah desperately tried to stop him. Don't go in there. But it was too late. Michael crossed the doorway. The moment he entered, everything changed. The room was far larger than it should have been. The walls seemed endless. The ceiling disappeared into darkness. Thousands of doors stretched in every direction. Each door carried a number. 307. 308. 309. Everywhere. Michael turned around. The doorway behind him had vanished. Sarah was gone. He was alone. A cold voice echoed through the darkness. Welcome back. Michael spun around. Standing before him was an old man dressed in a black suit. The same suit worn by the hotel receptionist. But now he looked much older. Much darker. His eyes were completely black. Who are you? Michael whispered. The old man smiled. I am the keeper. The keeper of room 307. Michael's heart pounded. What is this place? The old man slowly walked between the endless doors. For over a century, this room has existed between worlds. Michael stared in disbelief. Between worlds? The keeper nodded. Sometimes people find it by accident. Sometimes the room chooses them. Michael remembered the photographs. The missing guests. The impossible hallway. The vanished room. What happened to all those people? The keeper pointed toward the doors. They opened the wrong one. Suddenly screams echoed throughout the darkness. Hundreds of distant voices. Lost voices. Trapped voices. Michael felt sick. The keeper continued. Every door leads somewhere. Another place. Another time. Another reality. Michael realized the horrifying truth. The guests who disappeared had never died. They had simply become lost. Lost somewhere beyond the doors. Then Michael remembered Sarah. Can they be saved? The keeper remained silent. For the first time, his smile faded. Very few ever find their way back. Suddenly Michael noticed something hanging around the keeper's neck. A silver pocket watch. The watch looked familiar. Very familiar. Then he remembered. An old newspaper article. A photograph. The founder of the Grand Raven Hotel. A man who disappeared in 1894. The man in the photograph wore the same watch. Michael stared at him. You built this hotel? The keeper slowly nodded. Long ago. What happened? For the first time, sadness appeared in the old man's eyes. I opened a door. A door that should never have been opened. The darkness around them began to shake. The endless hallway trembled. The keeper looked worried. It's waking up. What is waking up? Michael asked. Before the old man could answer, a deep roar echoed through the darkness. Every door suddenly swung open. Thousands of doors. All at once. A freezing wind rushed through the corridor. Then Michael saw it. A gigantic shadow moving between the doors. Impossible to describe. Impossible to understand. The thing seemed to exist in different shapes at the same time. Every lost guest. Every trapped soul. Every missing person. They were running from it. The keeper shouted. Run. For the first time, fear filled his voice. Michael ran. The creature followed. Doors slammed open around him. Strange worlds flashed before his eyes. Cities floating in the sky. Endless oceans beneath red moons. Deserts covered in black snow. Different realities. Different timelines. Different worlds. Then he saw one door glowing brighter than the others. A familiar door. The hotel basement. Sarah stood on the other side. Michael. She reached out her hand. The creature roared behind him. Closer. Closer. Michael jumped. His hand grabbed Sarah's. Together they fell through the doorway. The door slammed shut behind them. Silence. Everything was over. Or so they thought. Weeks later, the authorities investigated the hidden underground level. They found nothing. No secret rooms. No endless corridor. No room 307. The entire area had vanished. As though it had never existed. The Grand Raven Hotel closed permanently. Its doors were locked forever. Years passed. The mystery became a local legend. Most people dismissed it as a story. A myth. An urban legend. But Michael knew the truth. One rainy evening, nearly 10 years later, he received a package. There was no return address. Inside was a single photograph. The picture showed the abandoned hotel. One upstairs window was illuminated. A figure stood inside. Watching. Waiting. On the back of the photograph were 6 handwritten words. Room 307 is still waiting. Michael never spoke about the hotel again. But every year, on cold winter nights, travelers passing through Raven's Hire claim they sometimes see a light inside the abandoned building. And if they look carefully, they might notice a door that shouldn't exist. A door marked 307. The end. What do you think happened inside room 307? Was it another dimension, a supernatural trap, or something even darker? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more mysterious stories.